Man, just when we think 2020 cannot get any worse, bro. I mean, it is almost November, right? This year is almost over with. And honestly, this may be the first year of my life in which I can honestly say, like, bring on the end of the year, dude. We gotta get this in the past as soon as possible. 2020 has just been a flashbang to all of us, man. I mean, in 2019, we deadass stayed up until midnight for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really waited up and screamed Happy New Year and celebrated for this. And no, just we need to go back and tell them folks to go home and sit down, man, because this has not been the year. But just when you think all of this is finally coming to a close, you know, maybe we're gonna ride out the rest of the year with COVID in the air and get through Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Christmas. Guess what, bro? We're not, okay? So you're gonna be watching this and you're probably already thinking, oh, Optimus, bro, we already had to worry about the murder hornets, remember? That was already a topic for months ago. You're so late on this story. Well, unfortunately, I'm not because, well, our worst fears have been confirmed when it comes to this. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, a few months ago, there was this big hoopla being made, which I just said hoopla, that was weird, but there was a big hoopla being made about these murder hornets, which were these invasive hornets that were coming from somewhere in Asia, right? That were basically setting up shop here in the United States and in North America. There was a big fear that they were going to start spreading and, you know, they were terrifying, right? These murder hornets are actually scary, right? I mean, first and foremost, these Asian giant hornets, which is what they're like formally called, but their nickname is murder hornets. First off, they're 2 inches long, bro. These fucking hornets are bigger than some of y'all's you know? Like, dog, come on, bro. So we got 2-inch long hornets setting up shop here in North America, right? If there wasn't any more incentive to, like, go to Europe or somewhere. But they also destroy honeybee populations. Now, if you don't know anything about honeybees, they are necessary for pretty much life on Earth, okay? We need these honeybees to pollinate plants and stuff like that to keep the ecosystem running properly. And if honeybees die out, like, that's pretty much game, right? Life on Earth would basically be down 46 points in the fourth quarter at that point. So the problem is honeybees are already facing a bunch of issues. They're being killed by humans. They're dealing with mites. They're dealing with diseases and pesticides. They're losing their food sources. So honeybees have been going through it recently, right? Like, they are legitimately down bad. And there's been a lot of, like, preservation efforts and stuff for them recently. Well, how are you going to preserve them when you got 2-inch hornets just, like, pulling up to the crib, killing them off? So the only places that these murder hornets so far have been found in North America was in Washington here in the United States, and now in British Columbia in Canada. So it's not like, you know, they've already spread all across the entire continent or anything like that. But I mean, dude, at this point, like, I'm legitimately kind of concerned about this whole idea. So the thing is when this became like a big news topic, you know, a bunch of people, like a bunch of environmental people came out and they're like, oh, we've only seen like a couple of them, bro. We've only seen a couple. We haven't even found a nest yet. So they were basically like trying to reassure the public that like this wasn't a huge deal because they hadn't really found anything concrete yet. They'd only found a couple of them flying around. You know, maybe they came off a boat, traveled a few miles inland, right? Hadn't set up shop or anything. So, but now they have officially found a nest for these motherfuckers, right? So on Saturday, heavily protected crews in Washington state destroyed the first nest of murder hornets discovered in the United States. Now, apparently the state agriculture department had spent a bunch of like time searching for murder hornets, trying to trap them and things like that. And then they even went as far as using dental floss to tie tracking devices to them so that they could basically find out like where they were going, if they were making a nest or had one already, things like that, right? And so the nest was found in the city of Blaine near the Canadian border, and it was about the size of a basketball, which, I mean, I don't know if y'all play basketball, but like, I pretty frequently play. A basketball-sized nest of hornets? That's pretty fucking big. Apparently it contained an estimated 100 to 200 hornets, so that's perfect, right? Perfect news. First and foremost, this is way worse than when they were first discovered, when they only found like a couple of them or whatever, and they were like getting kind of, you know, trying to reassure everyone like, oh bro, it's not that big of a deal. This is like exponentially more. And honestly, once you get like 100 to 200 of anything, the population can pretty much explode from there because they're just going to be in there doing their thing, making little baby hornets. And, you know, a lot of bugs can basically procreate in like vast quantities, if that makes sense, right? Like a lot of bugs, they can lay like dozens, if not hundreds of eggs. Now, I don't know how many eggs or whatever that these hornets can put down and like successfully, you know, turn into a child, or I shouldn't say a child, turn into a baby hornet. But even if like 200 hornets could make 5 new hornets every time that they reproduced, dude, that would be, like, terrible if they got through a full reproductive cycle, because if they can fit 200 hornets in one nest, that's like 5 new nests that's coming out of the next generation. And if it took them this long to find one nest, then bro, they're not finding 5 nests in time to stop another reproductive cycle, which is gonna just exponentially blow up the population. Now, when it comes to people, like, the murder hornet thing is, like, it's very overhyped, right? Because, like, a murder hornet, they're not just gonna, like, pull up on you and just, like, 50 of them just eat you or anything crazy, but they can definitely provide quite a painful sting to humans, and they can spit venom as well. But what it comes down to is the threat that they create for honeybee populations and honeybee farms, because, like I said, pretty much the entire planet, like all the life on Earth, really kind of relies on a few essential creatures, and one of those is honeybees because of the amount of plants that they pollinate. Plants provide the oxygen that we breathe, they take in carbon dioxide, and then on top of that, like, a lot of animals eat all kinds of different plants. We eat plants, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the amount of impact that honeybees have on the planet is definitely extraordinary, you know what I'm saying? And it's definitely not a good thing to think about the idea that this invasive species that really roots them out and just decimates their populations is now making a foothold, but these murder hornets really kill maybe a few dozen people a year in the Asian countries that they're found in, which is normally China, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, Vietnam, a lot of, like, that eastern coast of Asia, right? So it's not like we're gonna see, like, 50,000 Americans dead next year from just getting smacked up by murder hornets or anything. When you take a look at all the hornets, wasps, and bees that are typically found here in the US, they really kill, like, an average of 62 people a year, which means, like, we might be tallying on to that number a little bit if they do make a foothold, but I mean, it's not, like I said, gonna be, like, thousands of people getting sniped or anything crazy. So when it comes down to it, man, though, like, I really don't like the idea of this, and I think most of us don't. And yeah, the honeybee population, that's a bad enough thing, but it's like, bro, I don't want to just be, like, I don't know, mowing the grass, right? And then, like, I look to my left and a murder hornet's like, oh, loud noise. Hey, by the way, you're getting fucked up today, bro. Like, you already got to deal with enough of that shit right here in the United States. I don't know what it's like in, I don't know, Montana or anything, but here in Ohio, where the summers get hot and humid and it's, like, perfect conditions for these little fuckers to be out and about, dog, you can just be walking, right? And dude, you'll just, like, a wasp will just land on you, and you're just like, dude, come on, man. Like, I really don't want to deal with this shit. You can't swat at it, because then it's gonna fuck you up. And I guess that's the cool thing about most bees, right? Is, like, if they sting you, at least they can't sting you again, because those fools are dead. But bro, hornets and wasps, they can just fuck you up for fun, dude. And they hurt a lot worse, right? And these things provide, like, a painful-ass sting, so you get one of these fools mad at you, bro, and it hits you 13 times, like, oh my god, dude, fuck it, you gotta go to the hospital, bro. But, you know, and a lot of people are allergic to these kinds of things, which is what contributes to a lot of these deaths, and at the end of the day, who the fuck wants to see a 2-inch long hornet just chilling out in the air, right? Like, if you actually take a look at how much 2 inches is, like, that's a pretty big fucking bug, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, dude, just not a fun idea, in my opinion. So maybe a lot of people will consider this an old topic, but I mean, the fact that they finally found a nest, and that probably means that there's other nests out there, to keep it a buck. I don't know, I don't want to see any of them though. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members, your support helps my channel tremendously, and until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, not wanting to see any murder hornets, and signing out.